have been crying like morning and night. That is the portal to peace. We basically just wasted like $10,000. I don't want this to be the end of my adventure today. Hi, I'm Trista. I've been drawn to the natural world for as long as I can remember, and staying true to my Sagittarius nature, I've been traveling overseas or adventuring in one of my camper cars whenever possible for the last 5 years. You could say I'm on a mission to live a simple, happy life in the great outdoors. Oh, and this is Thanos, and Gaia, and Evie, my 3 cats, and this is Jeremy, my partner in everything. I'm sure you'll see them around. Hit subscribe and come along for the journey. We're hitting the road, just for a day trip. As you might notice, in the back there's no sleeping bag or mattress or anything. So I'm canceling my little PRIUS adventure trip. There are so many things happening right now, and I feel so overwhelmed by all of them, and I have been crying like morning and night because I feel so overwhelmed. We're gonna hit the road. Maybe that'll bring me some clarity, and hopefully we'll talk more about all that later on. As I started driving, my head began to clear, but my anxiety was still very much present. Actually, when I got to my first destination, I noticed myself even feeling shaky as I walked into this cute little coffee shop. One with, you guessed it, no vax passport and no masks. The fireplace was lit, and on each table was a deck of oracle cards. For the first time in days, I finally felt myself relax.
I've been searching my whole life for you, never knowing where it'd lead me to.
I'm feeling so much better after going to that coffee shop. It was the first time that I ate grains in like 3 days, and I needed that so badly, just to think straight and think clearly. And I also just got to do like a brain dump of all of my thoughts, everything that's just going through my mind right now. But more on that when we go up the mountain, because I think that's where I'll tell you guys everything that's been going on. For now, I need gas and to drive to the mountain. That's about it.
I've seen the peak and valley, I've seen the stars come on. I crossed over oceans, but you're the perfect storm. Your poetry in motion, I've never seen nothing like you.
This way. This is like straight downhill on snow. Probably gonna slip down. These 2 trees right there, that is the portal to peace. Now watch as we walk through it. I am a changed person on the other side. So I saw a little trail go off trail, I guess, and it brought me to this little spot that I think is by a lake. I might be sitting on the lake right now and not even know it. And across from the lake, I can actually see people hiking. It's quite something. I really like this area. The energy shift when I got here was like instant, not only within me, but also in the people here. They just seem so much kinder and more patient. Even in the drivers, I find. But anyways, I wanted to take a little break, and also I wanted to quote something from the book I've been reading. Well, I finished it now, but it is Women Who Run with the Wolves. I've talked about it before, I'm pretty sure. And in the last chapter, I think it was, the first opening quote, I believe, was something like, if you never go into the woods, nothing will ever happen and your life will never begin. And I loved that quote, and it talks about like Little Red Riding Hood and the actual need that we have to actually meet the wolf who's in the woods. And I also just thought it was so interesting because this morning when I was looking up a hike to do that was closer than the one that I had found, look at this, I found this one. It was the first one that came up, and it was called Mont Loup-Garou, which is the mountain, well, it's called Wolf Mountain in English. So I don't know, I just felt like there was a lot of synchronicities, and even as I was driving, I saw the word wolf a couple of times in other little towns, so I just feel like this is where I'm meant to be right now. That looks so cool. Also, my phone is definitely gonna die before I finish this hike. So for a second I thought I was lost because I started here. Where am I? Here. And I went around to here. And then it was supposed to be purple and then yellow, but called Milou. But now there's no Milou. So I think it's this one, which would be that line, which is called Poirier for some reason. But that's also called Poirier. So I think it's this way, around the lake. Let's hope I'm right. Noise. So I'm back, sitting beside another spot of the lake, and I thought I would take this time to tell you guys what's really happening before I finish the hike, because I think it's already almost done and my battery actually made it through. So there's a few things. First of all, I was trying this elimination diet to basically see if there was any foods that were causing like inflammation in my body and possibly like causing my thyroid problem and my hormone imbalance problem, and also like my kapha imbalance problems, and a few other things, of course. So I was kind of trying this thing where you eliminate almost like basically like 90% of the food that you would eat, and you do that for 2 months, and then you slowly start reintegrating it. And saying it sounds crazy, but when I read about it, I was like, this makes such perfect sense. So I started that. I was not eating sugar for like 2 weeks, and then I started removing grains and then dairy, even though I don't eat that much dairy. But the grains is like what killed me. Then I was feeling really, really sick. So what happened from there was that I started getting super irritable, obviously. And then I started getting stomach pains and nausea. And I just felt sick. Like I felt weak, tired. And yeah, I just was not doing well. And because of that, I was also even more irritable. So that's the first thing that was happening. And it was like I was in survival mode. Like all I could think about was my next meal. What was I going to eat? Because I was like literally starving, you know, not having any carbs basically, except for vegetables. And so yeah, I was just really not doing well, I would say. And this morning I decided I was just gonna not do that because it's so hard on the body, and I would like to do it in a less extreme way. So I don't know, it's still a process, but I just have not been feeling that great. And then obviously as well, with all of my hormone imbalances, I am PMSing right now, but it's 1,000 times worse because of my progesterone and everything. So that's been kind of hard emotionally as well. And then the part that you guys probably care about the most is what is happening with the Dodge. And so that's a whole big story, and I don't even know how much of it I can get into right now. Basically, the car was sold to us in a really bad shape because of something that the person did to it without us knowing. It really screwed us over, and we basically just wasted like $10,000. And anyway, so we might have to pursue legally. Like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that has just been super, super stressful. And I think basically those are the 3 big reasons why I just canceled my PRIUS trip, because I just feel so stressed right now, and I knew I still needed to get outside in nature, which is why I'm here. But to do something overnight right now, I just don't feel up to it. And then there's also just like world affairs that are on my mind, of course, with COVID and with everything that's happening right now with Russia and Ukraine. And the other morning, I woke up at 4 in the morning and I couldn't sleep, and I was just tossing and turning because I had this horrible bad dream about war. And there's also this like guilt and shame that I constantly feel because of the other issues. I'm not going to get into it, actually. It's been stressful. So I made it back to the car with phone, battery left. Woo woo. I'm very warm, which is why I took all my coats and everything off. I don't want this to be the end of my adventure today. I'm feeling so much better than when I left this morning, but I didn't bring my bed to sleep in my car, so I can't do that. I don't feel like I'm ready to go home yet. So I'm going to maybe drive and see if I want to stop somewhere on the way and hope that I have enough phone battery to make it all the way home, I suppose. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan, is to be spontaneous as I drive home. After just 7 minutes of driving, I found myself at one of my favorite spots in the Laurentians, a lake my family took a trip to a couple of summers back. So there I sat, eating some homemade strawberry oat granola bars and watching the people walk on the lake. That dock right there is where I would come and do morning yoga. Alright guys, my car got splashed before by some guy who was driving too fast through a gigantic puddle, but I'm going to be signing off here. I wanted to say a very big thank you to everyone who watched this video, anyone who's like supporting me, who's there for me through these YouTube videos, as I heal, as I grow, as I evolve. That support, and especially continuous support, means so much to me. And anyone who has subscribed to my channel, like, I just couldn't be more grateful for. I'm happy that I get to document the easier parts of life, but also the harder, rougher parts of life, where I feel unsure about things, or unsure about how things are gonna pan out, if that's the saying. So if you're going through a period where you too have no idea what's going to come next and it's just not going as planned, I hope you take comfort in this video, and I hope that you get out in nature and let it heal you, because ultimately we hear this all the time, but we're so small and our problems are so small compared to this like mass universe, you know, and you're gonna be just fine, and I'm gonna be just fine, and we're gonna heal one little step at a time. On that note, I'll see you in the next video on Wednesday. Mwah. Bye, guys.
The light in your eyes comes over me just like a sunrise. You set a scene, turning my gray skies blue.